Hey, listeners, we've got a great offer for you today from Audible.com. Audible.com is offering our listeners a free audiobook download just by going to audibletrial.com/WTE podcast. You get a free audiobook download and a free 30-day trial. And you can find a book like The Watership Downs about rabbits. It's a great book. Read it in middle school. There's other books on there like The Canterbury Tales. So go check it out again at audibletrial.com/WTE podcast. Hello and welcome to Walking the Earth podcast. This is Justin Castle calling in from New York City, New York. Don't forget to check us out at WTEpodcast.com.
And I'm Mike Margulies calling in from Chiang Mai, Thailand. And our guest today is Diana Edelman. Diana, what's up?
Hey.
Hey.
Diana's also here in Chiang Mai, but calling literally from the comfort of her own bed. And so Diana, you are doing several things out here in Chiang Mai. You're a digital nomad doing some freelance writing. You're also a travel blogger at your site dtravelsround.com. And you're also a volunteer with the Save Elephant Foundation and their Elephant Nature Park. So you've got your hand in a whole bunch of things out here in Chiang Mai.
I definitely do.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess you were telling us before we started recording here, I guess some of your backstory, which was, I thought, really interesting and compelling, but I'd love to, I think listeners would love to hear about that, for sure.
Sure. Well, I don't think I coined this phrase, but I like to think I did, but it's the 30 life crisis. And when I turned 30, I had said 30 life crisis. I had been working in PR in Vegas, and then I moved to Atlanta. Thought I had a dream job in Atlanta, in an amazing city. And I finally, for my 30th birthday, took a vacation for the first time in my grown-up life, and went to Croatia for 10 days. And sitting on a beach in Split, I had met an Australian guy who had spent a lot of his 20s volunteering and had just relocated to Split to work at a hostel. And we sat and talked, and he was basically explaining to me his philosophy on life, which is you have to live. And you don't go through the moments, you don't work, you live. And so when you're old, you know, you look back on your life and you know that you did everything you damn well could. And I sat there on the beach and I listened to him and I thought, shit, this is not what I'm doing. You know, I'm going through the motions. I'm working, you know, I'm living to work. I'm not working to live anymore. And there's a problem with that. So when I got back from Croatia, I went through this I've got to get out of town phase. I started a blog just for me, just because I loved writing. And tried to figure out a way to leave the country. So it turns out I did what is called a career break. Didn't know that's what it was called at the time, but It's a career break.
A break that became more than just a break, it sounds.
Yes, exactly. It's not a vacation, it's long term. I quit my job, I put all my stuff in storage, I had someone foster my cats, and I booked a ticket to London a few months after I got back from Croatia, and I left. And so I traveled 7 months through Europe and parts of Africa, pretty much by myself, you know, meeting people along the way. And after 7 months, I came back to America, back to my good old house in Maryland.
Yeah.
And, we're all from the same place, pretty much.
I had to give a shout out.
It's a small world.
It's a small state too.
Yeah, small state.
That too. So I went back to Maryland and went through that, crap, what am I going to do now phase. I knew I didn't really want to do PR. I knew I wanted to travel. I had been keeping up my blog, so decided that it made the most sense for me to go back to my second home, which is Vegas. So I moved back to Vegas, got a job with an old client of mine. They hired me to be their director of communications for a restaurant group.
Cool.
It was a part-time job, so it was perfect for me. So I was doing their PR and media and also writing. So I did that for about a year, knowing it was never permanent. And then for my 32nd birthday, I went to Thailand and volunteered for a week at Elephant Nature Park. And while I was there, there was an elephant. She had only been rescued maybe half a year earlier. and she was not doing well. My second to last day, we were brought over to where she was because she had laid down. And once an elephant lays down, if they don't get up rather within about 24 hours, it can cause internal damage and can eventually kill them. And typically, if an elephant lays down and doesn't want to get up, it's because the animal is close to the end of their life.
Okay.
And so I was there, and we were trying to make her comfortable, getting her sandbags, spraying her with water, and seeing that and knowing that she wasn't really old. Elephants can live, basically as long as humans, and seeing her and knowing that what was going on with her was a direct result of the life she lived because of trekking and because of people riding her, really just kind of triggered something in me. And it made me realize that, yes, I have this blog, and yes, I want to travel, and yes, I want to write, but I can do all three things, and I can educate people at the same time and teach them more about responsible tourism, teach them about the realities not only of elephant tourism, but animal tourism in general.
Okay.
So I went back to Vegas and had this newfound passion and started writing about elephant tourism and educating anybody I could. And then maybe about 4 months later, I had enough clients where I was able to quit my job doing what I was doing. And it's actually funny because I had told my employer that I just wasn't happy there anymore. And he actually, on the phone with me, said, "You're only 30. It doesn't matter if you're happy." So I was like, actually, yes, it does. And I'm not happy, and I want to be happy. So I'm making these changes in my life so I can be happy.
Yep.
So I quit the job. Went into business for myself, and then I had emailed the founder of Save Elephant Foundation, Lek Chilert, right around the same time and said, "Look, Chiang Mai is on my top places I want to relocate to. It's a great place to be a digital nomad, but really what I want to do is help you. And I don't care if I'm scooping poop. I don't care if I'm making pumpkin balls for the elephants or banana balls. I want to come and I want to help you." And about 3 weeks later, she said, "Come on out." So.
Right. Wow.
I've been in Chiang Mai for 2 years now, volunteering for SEF, doing their PR and social media, and at the same time working on my site, writing for other sites as well, and just combining everything I love into every day of my life.
That's amazing.
And that's my nutshell story.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
That's a jam-packed story.
It is. I tried to keep it short and not talk too fast, but sorry if we did.
No, that's perfect.
No,
that was amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I mean, it definitely ties in with what we talk about a lot on the show. Is just no, you shouldn't just be unhappy. Go and be happy. And so you went. You're another great example of going and doing that thing, and you certainly kind of found something that's obviously something you're really passionate about. Actually, as it turns out, you and I met through mutual friends who work with you over at the Elephant Nature Park, and I met with them, and they're working with the dogs actually. So you guys at the Elephant Nature Park have taken care of formerly abused elephants and dogs.
Yep.
And I think I've heard a lot. I actually haven't been yet myself to the Elephant Nature Park, but from everything I hear, it sounds like everything you guys are doing is really wonderful. And you touched on this a little bit. These elephants came from they were being abused, or yes, here in Thailand, there's a lot of places that have animal tourism and that kind of thing. And so what you guys are doing is really a really nice thing. Protecting them and doing this, being more responsible with all this stuff. So definitely commend you for everything that's going on at Elephant Nature Park, for sure.
Well, Lek's amazing. It's her passion. It's her, it's her life, and it's a privilege to be able to be a part of that. She's phenomenal, and her love is just never ending. Every animal is a child to her, and it's beautiful to see.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's good because there is a lot of this kind of animal tourism that goes in here. Actually, I myself, I'll admit right now, back in the first time I came to Chiang Mai in January, I went to the Tiger Kingdom out here. And so for those who, and so people don't know what the Tiger Kingdom is.
Yeah, what is that?
It's this place where you go, and the whole catch is, hey, you get to like hang out with a tiger. You get to like take a picture next to a tiger, pet it, all this stuff. And so at the time, I guess I just didn't think much of it. I was hanging out. I was here and fresh here, and it sounded like a cool experience. But I got out there, and like I immediately regretted this. I was just looking around like, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
We've got these tigers that are essentially, they're all drugged up so that
Are they?
So they don't. Yeah, definitely. I would say they've got to be. You agree with that, Diana?
I don't support animals in captivity.
Yeah, well, that too. That's the thing. I was like, wait, we've got these like slaves essentially. Like we've got these animals that just hang out in a cage, and just for our entertainment. And it's like, I don't know. I guess we tend to like look at animals as inferior a lot of the time and all this stuff. And
right.
I guess I'm not going to go in too much of on this for too much, but that's what struck me personally when I was there. I was kind of thinking like, wait, what is going on here? This is weird,
And that's really messed up. And also, I don't know if you are aware of this because you've been out of the country for the past year. But you've heard about the selfies thing? That was like a thing where people were seeking out tigers and other animals and taking selfies with them for I don't know, like online dating profiles. Like that was a thing in the U.S.
Oh,
it was it was absolutely disgusting. I don't care if you did it and you're listening to this. I think that's stupid, and I think it's obnoxious, and I can't believe it was a thing. That's all I'm saying.
I think it speaks volumes about the people because I work in animal rights, and it's always interesting to me to hear people justify things like that. Well, I'm selfish, I'm this, I'm that, but people know that these animals probably don't have good lives, probably have had some form of abuse, but they don't care because it's all about what they want. It's about that picture, So I always try to encourage people to kind of step out of them and kind of be a little bit more global,
Right.
And hey, because these places are in operation because people want those selfies.
Right.
Exactly. They want that Facebook story, they want that blog post, they want that romantic idea of like being with a wild animal who's not wild. They're clearly captive, clearly have, oftentimes their spirit's been broken, so they can't be wild again.
Right.
And that's what's important. And it's I'm actually quite horrified that was a trend in America.
Yeah.
That's just terrible.
I am too. And honestly, like, if I were to see a profile with somebody who did that, and I kind of have an idea of what they had to go through to do that, and I wouldn't even talk to this person in the first place. Yeah. So, especially on a dating site, it's like, all right, left swipe if you're on Tinder.
I was just going to say that.
On Tinder.
Left swipe. Sorry. Not gonna.
I just reinstalled Tinder, actually. I was going to give it a try out here.
Chiang Mai Tinder.
Tinder Chiang Mai style. The difficulty with using Tinder out in Thailand or any dating site out here is, a lot of local girls tend to be either that are interested in farang, in the foreigners. A lot of them are either ladyboys or prostitutes. So you have to be careful out in Thailand using any of this stuff.
Yeah. Diana, what's your experience? I mean, you've been overseas for several years now. What's your experience with the I don't know how personally we get, but dating internationally?
Well, funny you should ask. I actually have another website, and it's called the Comfort Zone Project, and it's all about life in Chiang Mai and getting out of your comfort zone. So I've written quite a bit about dating in Chiang Mai, and
give us the juicy stuff. Give us the juicy stuff.
No.
No, I mean, what are your tips?
There's not that much juicy stuff because it's really hard, actually, to date in this country. For the most part, and this is going to be very general, so I apologize, but for the most part, Thai men aren't interested in Western women.
Okay.
And the Western men that come here are interested mostly in Thai women. So It's it
Wow.
kind of just makes people like me just kind of like fade into the background.
Oh
It's fine.
no.
I mean, I don't mind it at all. I mean, I go on dates. I still, I mean, it's not like I don't meet people
Right.
here, but it's not a normal dating life out here for sure.
Gotcha.
I don't know. It's weird for dudes as well, though. Like
Yeah.
what I was saying before is kind of things drawing from a personal experience. Like I'll go into a little bit of a personal story. Why not?
Do
Uh-huh.
it.
A few months ago, I
Wait,
was
the
in
time
Chiang
you went
Mai.
home with a ladyboy on accident?
Not a ladyboy accident, but I did go home with a prostitute by accident.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah. Like there's this weird thing that happens. I was out. It was a few months ago, like after Songkran. And I was out at one of the bars out here. I started talking to this girl, a Thai girl, just a girl at the bars with her friends. Seems normal to me. We went out to several different bars together. We got food together. Bought her a few drinks. I just thought it was, hey, this is a girl. Hey, she's into me. And it's just, I guess there's a weird thing here where some of the girls, they're like half prostitutes, half not. Like they combine, like a night out with their friends with like, hey, if I pick up a Farang guy, maybe I can make a buck or two. And at the time, maybe I should have known better, but I didn't understand this at the time. So like I just thought this girl like actually liked me, and so we ended up going home. And then like once we're in my room, she says, "Okay, you pay now." And I was just like, wait, excuse me? What? I thought, her English wasn't perfect, so I thought maybe I misunderstood. And then she's kind of like, no boom boom free.
Oh my God.
True story. I feel bad because I was kind of like a dick to her after that. I was just like, get the fuck out sort of thing. But so I feel kind of bad because I feel like it was probably on me. I should have known better,
Oh, I see.
But
it's
so I don't know. The point is, as a guy, there's pitfalls here as well.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of deceitful a little bit,
Well, from our perspective,
It
Westerners,
seems
it's deceitful. If you met a girl in the U.S. and after you hung out for a while and then she came back with you, she says, "Oh yeah, by the way, you have to pay me," you would feel it's deceitful. But you have to understand, this is a whole different culture here,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so it's. I'm not gonna like jump.
It's
to the conclusion
normal
that it's
and
on her.
it's
Yeah.
acceptable, that's
Yeah.
the thing. When I first came here, I had a really hard time with it because they have what they call sexpats here, and it's
Yes.
it's basically it's men that come here and they are coming looking for maybe not a bar girl but a Thai wife. They want to have somebody, and a lot of times it's the economy here isn't great. It's the women end up having to take care of their families back in their villages and stuff. So these guys come in and they pay a dowry and they marry these women and they pay for everything for them. And when I first came here, it bothered me.
Yeah.
And the whole prostitution thing really bothered me. But it's such a part of the culture here, and it's not for me to take my Western morals and ideology and look at this because it's acceptable here, So
Okay.
it was a tough thing for me to get used to. Now I'm used to it, like I have bar girls that are friends, and it's okay,
Right.
Yeah.
We don't get into details, but it's a normal thing, and I may not necessarily agree with it. I certainly don't want to be a bar girl.
Right.
But
Right.
it is what it is.
And it's not even necessarily like just a thing culturally out here. Like even within the U.S., if someone who's like, for example, super rich,
Yeah.
some super rich guy goes out and girls, you call them gold diggers in the U.S. They'll come and look for
Yep.
him and whatnot. That happens in the U.S. And here, it's not a very dissimilar thing because you're a Westerner
No.
showing up to Thailand. You're very rich by the standards out here. So
Oh,
it's like
okay.
it's a very similar thing that you would see if a super rich guy's walking around in the States too.
Right.
Yep.
know.
It's exactly. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
the trophy wives and the rich husbands.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
I guess if you see it from that perspective, I mean, I understand it more so, but it's still, I mean, coming from the U.S. and being raised here, it is a
Yeah.
little, it's not common. It's a
Yeah.
little, it's just a little eye opening.
Yeah.
Who
I mean,
who is
Oh.
who? I do want to ask this, and we'll say, who's doing this? Who's coming to Thailand just to do that, to meet these people, pay these dowries? Is it like
Many people.
It depends, a lot. It really depends. I mean, it's people of all ages, and it's not just them doing that. Like, I was talking to a guy here, and it turns out, he came here. He went down south to Pattaya, so he could just have a week of just, balls to the wall, party with the and just pay for sex all week. And then he came up here, and it turns out he is married back in the States, and just didn't tell his wife he came to Thailand.
Wow, holy crap.
He was on he's not a person I would ever speak to again. Turns out, like, he was on a top secret vacation, and it was so, like, I was horrified by that, just the fact that happened. But it's people like that come here.
Right.
It's, it's all sorts. I think it's that thing or that those relationships don't discriminate on age or romantic situation or anything. It could be any guy.
You're right. You're absolutely right. The person, people have infidelity there's people all across the world who commit infidelity all the time.
Yeah.
And don't bat an eye. So I guess he's one of those people. But like, why? You can't answer this question, I'm sure. But why? Why do you think it's in, the Thai culture? Why is Thailand that poor? Is it or is it just how the evolution of the culture was, or they feel? Do you have a sense
tough
on that?
I mean, from what I gather from talking to women here and talking to men, like Western men here that have Thai wives or, have done the bar girl thing, it's because the salary here, people don't make a lot of money, and these Western guys come in with Western money, and they can help. They can help support a girl and her family, because at the end of the day, it's the daughter's job once to take care of her family. And so, I mean, some of my really good friends that are Thai, they have to send money back to their family in their home village every month to help because they can't afford it. So, I think a lot of it's based on money.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And, I would also add, although prostitution is not something for me personally, I'm not going to say someone who chooses to be a prostitute or to use a prostitute, they're not, that doesn't make them morally a bad person. So a girl who's found, hey, there's all these farang here, and I can, like you said, I can support my family. I don't look down on her for that. Like, yes, at the time when this happened to me, I was pissed off and I was taken aback by what happened to me, because it wasn't, to my expectation of what that interaction was. But, objectively, like, a girl who's, it's just we have this view, like, we've turned prostitution into this, like, evil, bad thing.
Right.
And if it's not for you, it's not, whoever it's not for, it's not for. But it's not objectively, like, a bad thing, a morally bad thing.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of a Western thing that we've been, like, kind of tainted to believe that, these people are somehow inferior morally or something, and it's that's not really true.
It is definitely a cultural difference for sure. It's a societal difference, and where the norm falls, and the norm falls, and when our upbringing and where we're from, Maryland, in one of the 13 original colonies where these religious people came to escape persecution, establish this country, and that's where we're coming from. So it just hearing it is kind of, it definitely, there's some conflict that arises in my brain immediately when I hear all these things. So, and I guess if that's what these people have to do, I feel like it's an unfortunate thing for them that they have to do it to support their families. But if it's so ingrained in the
but they might not even view it as unfortunate,
Right.
It's just a thing.
Yeah, it's the life here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then it's just hard to take it in, I guess, because I'm not used to it.
It's not everybody, I certainly know plenty of Thai people that are in relationships with other Thai people.
Right.
It's just one facet of the relationships that go on here.
Gotcha.
Right.
I gotcha. So
Yeah.
so bringing it back to the traveling aspect. So the hey,
What?
what is this thing? Um, so like so there's traveling on the road and having relationships while in Thailand and whatnot. It sounds like the whole culture of Chiang Mai and its transient state and all these different people. I guess it isn't from both of your experiences. Is it conducive to having a relationship? It sounds like the answer maybe not really. Is that the case?
It depends.
I'm
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm going with, at least as a female here, I'm gonna go with no. It's not really conducive.
Okay.
This is an incredibly transient city as an expat. People come and go all the time. Now with the new, or not new visa rules, but with the crackdown on visas, people really can't stay that much longer anymore unless they have a legitimate reason to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's quite tough to have long-standing relationships of any sort, be it, friends or partners. It's difficult.
And I'll offer my answer to that question would be, I guess my experience has varied. So, and I've been in and out of Chiang Mai a few times. I've spent a few months here, not all at once, but I've had different experiences different times. So recently, I haven't been exactly swimming in it as far as like romantic relationships. Hence, I downloaded Tinder again.
Me too, Mike. Me too.
But I will say the last time I was in Chiang Mai, in May, I did get involved with someone, and I did have a very meaningful, nice relationship with the girl that I met here. And so versus other places, when I was doing like the more hardcore backpacking, there were people that tended to stay in Chiang Mai longer than they stayed other places. But that said,
Yeah.
that particular relationship, you're right, Diana, because it is still ultimately transient, because that particular relationship kind of came to its close when she went back home. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I agree with you. I've had different experiences myself, different times where I've had more luck romantically and less luck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that is a challenge that it is transient. Do you think, Diana, though, that there are a fair amount of expats that stay for a while? I guess your take is after a year, though, they'll kind of be out or something.
Well, it's, especially the past, like, almost a year now, like, I've kind of just not cared anymore. So I haven't gone out. I haven't tried. Like, I'll go on dates and stuff, but I don't care right now. So I haven't really looked to see lately. I mean, but that being said, I've had relationships here. I mean, it's just a little bit more difficult because I guess meeting the Western men here that are interested in a Western woman is a lot less. And there's a lot more, Western females, going for that one guy that wants a Western girl, so it's, it's, I
You have
just
a lot of
choose now to
competition.
just kind of yeah, I mean, I don't even, like, I just stay out of it. I'm like, you know what, it's just not important enough to me right now. I'd rather focus on me and my work and me than going out on a blind date and having awkward conversation about where you've traveled and where you're going next and all that bullshit.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. Well, you're spending your time being very meaningful doing other things, like
Yeah.
all these blogs. We just learned about the Comfort Zone Project, which is another blog, and you're rescuing elephants and taking care of them, which is pretty amazing. If you want to, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, because we mentioned it before we recorded, but I wanted you had an elephant rescue. Was it recently?
I've been on two. One was January 2013, and the one was about 3 weeks later. The one in January, oh my God, it was almost 2 years ago now. Wow.
Yeah.
Lek had just opened. I know, especially here. Oh my God. I think because the weather doesn't really change, you're just all of a sudden, you're like, it's October. Oh my God. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like...
I know. But so Lek had just opened, or not opened, but had just started to really beef up a project in Cambodia called Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary. And we had gone in December 2012 to kind of go research some elephants that she'd wanted to rescue. And she found two trekking elephants that couldn't really trek anymore. So she worked out deals with those owners. And with the rescue, she always makes sure that the price she's going to pay doesn't give the owner enough money to go out and buy another elephant because she doesn't want to continue the cycle. So she found these 2 elephants, and we flew back out a few weeks later with a team, and drove from Phnom Penh to the Vietnam-Laos border, and got these 2 elephants, and drove literally across the entire interior of Cambodia to Siem Reap. It was like a full 4 a.m. to like 10 p.m. drive, and Cambodia is not that huge of a country, but you're driving on highways that are dirt roads.
With elephants in tow.
Yeah,
Wow.
with 2 elephants in trucks, and we're stopping and we're, Lex cutting down banana trees, or, we have to eat. And
Holy
so
crap.
it was a very long journey, but, getting to that sanctuary and seeing them step off that truck and walk into that park was probably one of the most magnificent experiences of my life. I mean, I didn't do the rescue, but I was a part of it. I was able to witness like these majestic animals getting like their second lease on life, and to me that was just such an amazing experience. And then 3 weeks later we went down to Surin, and there was an elephant. Her name is Lucky, and she was a circus elephant around 30, and she had been blinded in both of her eyes by the spotlights. And so our crew went down there, about 10 of us went down there and drove from Surin back up to Chiang Mai, and brought her home to Elephant Nature Park.
That's great. That's
Awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Where's your documentary? Come on, where is it?
They have plenty of documentaries on LAC. There's a really good one actually by I think it's on Sky Network in Australia, but you can watch it online, and it's called The Elephant Whisperer, and she's magnificent. And there's another one that just came out. It's actually what I would recommend to anybody who wants to go, like, think about riding an elephant or just supporting elephant tourism in general. And it's called An Elephant Never Forgets, and it's by Groundbreak Films. I think Groundbreak is the name of their company, and it's a really good video. I do make a cameo in it, but that's it.
Nice.
What?
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's it's quite eye opening, and it's a really good tool to use for education.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll link up, if you can send us the links to those, we'll post them when we post this episode, which people
For sure.
people know, WTEpodcast.com. You can find links to a lot of bonus content, things we mentioned in the episode. But yeah, actually, on that note, time does fly, and we are coming to the close of this episode. And so I'll ask you a question, Diana. Give us the first answer that pops in your head.
Oh God, okay.
What's one thing you'd like to do in your life before you die?
Publish a book.
Boom.
Great.
Easy enough. Oh, and you're going to have an audiobook version too.
Well, yes, of course I'll have an audiobook. Well, I'm working on an ebook right now, but I want to publish through a publishing house. I want to publish a book.
Awesome.
And we'll have and if you go to audibletrial.com/WTE podcast, you can get a free copy of this audiobook.
Sweet.
Now,
I'm
that's
gonna
awesome.
do that
Now,
right now.
What is the topic of your book going to be?
Well, the one I'm working on right now, it's basically, I can't tell you.
Okay.
It's nonfiction, and it's
memoirs.
not going to be a big book. It's 50 pages right now, but then my mom sent me 25 pages of edits, so now it's 75 pages, not edited. So it's a short one, and it's just it's about living your life.
Awesome.
For
Very
you.
cool.
Yes.
Leaving us in suspense.
Well,
yes.
when you do
And
have
that's all
that
I'm
book,
gonna
we
say.
will. Awesome. We'll have to link up to that once you do have it published and ready to go.
Of course.
On both
that'd
paper
be
and audio
fabulous.
form.
Yes. I think, audio is so important these days because, you can listen to it anywhere versus having to, read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah.
I do it all the time. The time.
Take a walk, listen to an audiobook. Bam.
Exactly.
Multitasking.
Or walking
Yes.
Walking the Earth podcast,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
See?
people
Yep.
listening to podcasts, it's the similar folks. Anyone's listening to podcasts, you definitely would probably get a good experience listening. Same thing as listening to audiobook, really. So
Definitely.
I think that's why Audible sponsors podcasts, because it's kind of like the same.
It's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
definitely
makes
makes a
sense.
lot of sense.
So yeah, audibletrial.com/WTE podcast.
Faux show.
Smoothly
Shameless
integrating that into the show.
It's well done.
Diana, though, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
For coming on the show. Your blog, we'll link to all the stuff, as I was saying, on WTEpodcast.com. Cool. Your blog is dtravelsround.com. You can also find you can find the Save Elephant Foundation it's saveelephant.org. That's right?
Saveelephant.org, yep.
Cool. Are there any relevant Twitter handles or anything like that we should also mention?
Oh, well, my Twitter is dtravelsround, same as my blog. Instagram is the same, Pinterest is the same. And Save Elephant has an Instagram, it's Save Elephant Foundation. And we have a blog on our website, and we have a Facebook page of the same name, and Twitter is save_elephant.
Awesome, and we will post up
things.
links to. Well, I'll organize that and post the links to all those things on the write-up for this episode. So if you go to WTEpodcast.com, if you're hearing this, it'll be up. So you can check out all those links there.
Very cool. Well, thanks everybody for listening to Walking the Earth podcast. This is Justin Castle signing off. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.